Here's another example of how to complete the square on a function. My first steps are to separate the x squared term and the x term from the constant term. So I'll move my constant term to the far right side. Now, we also notice in this particular problem there was an understood 1 in front of x squared. This means that for my scratch work, I will take 1/2 of the value that's in front of x and square it. So I'll take 1/2 multiplied by -7 and square it. Do make sure to notice that the sign in front of your 7 was negative, and you want to take that sign with the 7 when you do the scratch work. Well, I can't take 1/2 of -7, so what I'll do instead is I'll put the -7 over 1 and then just multiply straight across. So 1 times -7 would be -7, 2 times 1 in the bottom would just be 2, and then this value needs to be squared. Okay, to square -7/2, I square both the -7 and the 2. So -7 squared would be 49, 2 squared would be 4. Remember that we use this particular value later on in our problem. The 49 over 4, I need to come up and I need to add 49 over 4 to the x squared and x terms, and then I need to subtract 49 over 4 from the constant term. Now I need to factor the first 3 terms. So I know it will factor as 2 binomials. I know I would use x and x as my first 2 terms. Now, I'd be looking for factors of 49 over 4 that add to -7. Well, we're not really used to factoring with such ugly numbers. However, we remember from our earlier example that the value that actually goes into the factorization in the second slot is this value that I have over here. So we're going to put that number here and here. Notice that we use the sign. Also notice if you multiply -7/2 times -7/2, you would get positive 49 over 4. If you add -7/2 and -7/2, that would be -14/2, which is -7, the value in the middle. So that's a nice trick to remember, especially when you end up with ugly fractions such as this one. Now we need to combine the 2 constant terms. We notice that we have a 4 minus a fraction. Put the 4 over 1 so that you can find a common denominator. The common denominator would be 4, so we need to multiply by an extra 4 over 4 to get that common denominator. So this would be 16 over 4 minus 49 over 4, and then on the next step down I'll combine the terms. The 2 binomials are the same, and so we will write this as x minus 7/2 squared. And then we want to combine the 16 over 4 minus 49 over 4, which is 33 over 4. Okay, pull down the f of x notation. And so this is our function that we have completed the square on.